Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I'm super excited to have Logan Farrington, number 9, right?
Yep.
And Marley Edwards, number 11,
Yes,
to the
sir.
Young Athletic Podcast. Thank you guys for being here. How are you doing today?
Doing good. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Doing good as well. Southern
Thanks.
California, can't complain.
Can't complain. Are you from Southern California?
I'm not. I'm from Canada. So I just came down to California for school. So I've only been here for the last year and a half. So
Okay, so you go to
That's nice.
you go to school down here, but you're from Canada.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. And Logan, of course, where are you from?
From Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Out here for the summer. Was here last summer and enjoyed it so much. Had to come back.
And where do you go to school now?
I just transferred to Oregon State.
Yeah, you excited about that?
Very excited. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Yep.
You gonna have a new coach, and is he a good coach, you think?
From what I know, he's got a very good reputation. I've talked to him quite a few times, and I was happy with him. So
Yeah.
that's one of the big reasons I chose there.
Did you visit before you decided to go?
No, I didn't have.
No.
I didn't have any time in between the transfer portal and coming here. I had about a week to make a decision, and I didn't even have a chance to go visit anywhere.
Wow.
But they gave me a super detailed presentation. They showed me videos of everything, talked to me for a couple hours. It was enough where I could make a decision that I was happy with.
Virtual tour.
Yeah, virtual tour, everything. Showed me the locker rooms, the fields, all the facilities, clips, everything. It was very in-depth, and
Yeah.
I felt very confident making the decision.
Well, it'll be fun. A
Yeah.
fun new adventure. And Marley, what about how's your school going?
School's going good.
Yeah.
I'm attending Cal State Northridge right now. Unfortunately, we don't play these guys in the fall. I wish we did, but
We're close, right?
yeah,
Oregon and California.
we play Booba, so we play University of Portland, so that'll be fun to play. And then some other players that are in the same conference as me are also on the Fusion, so it'll be nice to play for them. But yeah, we had a good spring season. We're bringing in some new players for the fall, and I think we have a really good core. So I think we can make a run for conference and
Yeah, it's
make
a
the
good
tournament.
team.
Yeah, very good team. I think we're going to be very strong this year.
Wow. So if you could play each other, who do you think would win? The Oregon team or the Northridge team?
I don't know. I don't even know when the last time our schools played each other. I don't know
I
if that's
haven't
even
seen them
happened.
play. I know they're in a pretty good conference as well as we are, but I don't know. I think it'd be a good game.
These are both D1 schools.
Yes.
And good D1 schools.
Yes. It'd be a tough
Be a
contest for
tight
sure.
match.
Yeah, and it's tough to base that off no history between the schools. But
Yeah.
maybe I'm just uneducated, but I don't know how past fixtures have gone. So
Yeah.
So what made you come down to California from Canada?
the weather.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to get out of those snowy winters, but mainly just because in Canada it's tough. The main exposure you can get in Canada is by playing for an academy, but there's only Montreal Impact, Vancouver Whitecaps, and then Toronto FC. There's not you kind of have to play for one of those three. And so coming down to a school here in Canada, you don't get too much exposure with schools. So I wanted to come here and put myself on a better platform, and of course make it to the Division I level. And it just kind of opens up a lot of doors. I mean, it opened up this door right here, so
Yeah.
I'm thankful for it. So mainly just to better myself as a player, get into a better environment, and just
So
improve.
you couldn't find it in Canada, or it wasn't as easy?
It was. I played at a school there, and it was. I just realized quickly it wasn't the level that I wanted to be at. This isn't where I wanted to be. I wanted to reach for something higher. So, I heard good things about schools down here and how the NCAA works. And my brother as well. He's a year older than me. He's been through the ringer with basketball. So he did help me out quite a bit going through that transition from Canadian schools to American schools. So that was nice to have him in my corner, and he kind of pushed me towards it. I guess because he saw my potential and he just knew that I could get to higher levels, and that's kind of
Is
what
he
I
a
did.
D1 basketball player?
He was, and now he's back in Canada. So
Okay.
he's gone through a couple transfers, but he's
Is
back
he
home now.
taller than you? Because usually basketball talk, they're taller.
Yeah, I got my mom's height. So my mom's 5'3", my dad's about 6'2", my brother's 6'4". My other
okay.
two, I have two younger sisters, and one's taller than me, and the other one's 15, and she's my height now. So I'm stuck at 5'9". So
Wow.
I mean, it is what it is. It helps me with my sport. I don't mind it. So
Yeah, it's not,
it's not the end
it's
of the
not
world.
basketball where you
Yeah.
have to be tall.
Yeah, I was playing basketball in high school. I just used my quickness, and I was just
Yeah.
shooting a little bit, but
It's a lot like soccer. The movement
There's a lot of movement.
Passing,
Yeah.
Some of it,
triangles.
Yeah.
At least if you like condense it a lot.
Yeah.
In smaller parts of the field, it is.
Yeah. But it's been good. It's been enjoyable down here. I mean, built relationships and
Did you know about Fusion before you came down to Northridge?
no, I didn't. How did it work? So I went to I originally came down to a Division II school called Fresno Pacific in the fall of 2021, and
Fresno?
in Fresno, yeah.
Okay.
And so I was still in California, as you can tell. I like the state. And one of my teammates there had a connection with somebody in the Fusion at the time, and then he just told me, he was like, "Hey, like I have this camp, I can help you out with a discount," because at the time I wasn't looking to spend too much money for like combines and stuff. And I was like, sure, like why not? Like why not take the risk? And then I went down, had like good performance, and then met Mike. And then that's when he said, "Hey, I want you to come play in the summer of 2022." And then that's when I came back in the summer, and then we ended up winning it all.
So did you play for Fusion before you came down to Northridge or after you came down to Northridge?
Right before. So I was at Fresno Pacific for the fall and the spring.
2 years ago?
Yeah, 2021.
Okay.
And then played until the spring of 2022.
Right.
And then I entered the portal. And then through Fusion, actually, Julio Rubio, who played last year with us, was our left back here. And he's now hopped on as assistant coach at Northridge. So he kind of pulled some strings and helped me out there with that connection. And then that's kind of how my transition went from Fresno Pacific to CSUN. And then I played CSUN fall of 2022 to spring of 2023. And then now we're here. So.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So you went Fresno, Fusion, Northridge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Fusion kind of served as a little segue into Northridge. Yeah.
You know, we're all about trying to provide opportunities for
Absolutely,
players.
yeah, and it's done so.
So you guys have both mentioned the transfer portal. I know nothing about it. It wasn't around when I played college soccer. You want to talk how it went or what it's like? Or
Sure.
I know it's a hot topic right now.
Yeah, so I really didn't know that much about it either until, maybe the last 6 months when I was deciding to go into the portal.
What does it mean to go into the portal?
So there's two different windows you can go into. It's kind of like
a website?
The European transfer window. So you have a certain amount of time to get into the portal. And going into the portal is just putting your name on the market, basically. So you go through your school compliance officer, whoever runs it at your school. You talk to them. You say, I want to go in here because I'm looking to transfer. They'll ask you a couple questions, fill out some paper, and you just have to watch like a short 15-minute video on transferring, basically from the NCAA, acknowledging you know what you're doing. Like that you,
Were you not allowed to transfer schools before this? I don't understand. I feel like you could.
I think you were. You just had to sit out a year. I think.
Yeah.
I'm not too educated.
There's a lot of rules on it. They changed recently saying that you don't have to sit out a year.
I think that's because of
if
COVID.
you transfer because of COVID.
Yeah.
And also they want to give people more opportunities. Like if they're not playing at a place and they want to transfer and they'll play it somewhere else, they don't have to miss out a whole year of their career at our age,
Okay.
And so after you watch that video, you sign some papers, and then once it hits the time where the portal opens, so for me, I transferred in the spring, the portal opened May 1st, and it's open from May 1st to May 15th.
This year?
Yes.
So 2 months ago?
Yes, 2 months ago. And you have those 2 weeks just to get into the portal. You don't have to make a decision by then. That's just you putting your name in and saying, I'm basically a free agent. You can talk to other schools, stuff like that. But there's also a portal in the winter as well, which is a lot longer. It's like a 3-month portal. But they serve the same purpose. You can talk to coaches. And then after you find a school you like, you tell them you commit. You sign some paperwork for them. And then they take your name off the portal. The new school you're going to has to...
So do coaches reach out to you if you're on the portal?
Yes.
Did you get more than one from Oregon?
Yeah. So I could tell you a funny story a little bit, actually. So... The day I went into it was May 1st, 9 a.m., walked into the office, gave him the paper with my sign, paperwork, everything.
Milwaukee?
Yeah, in Milwaukee.
Okay.
And he put it in. Took about 10 minutes. By the time I got back to my house, I got an email on my phone that said, you're in there, as I'm opening up my door. About a minute later, I walked into my room and I had 5 emails already from different coaches.
Wow,
yeah.
hot stuff.
Yeah,
They want that Logan.
Two of them were from coaches that I've played against in my conference, and then other ones were just people who've maybe heard of me or just already started looking up my name. So
was one of those coaches the Oregon coach?
No, not at the time. So that took a couple days. So over the first 2 or 3 days, I felt like an agent. I got a good number of emails. I was on the phone with some schools that I wanted to go to. So I was talking to coaches for an hour here and there. And then Oregon actually emailed me 2 days after I went into the portal. But they were really quick. They moved really quick. They emailed me.
2 days is pretty quick.
Yeah.
I mean,
they called me after they emailed me and I emailed them back. They called me. The head coach and the assistant called me that day, said they want to set up a Zoom meeting. And then the next day I went on the Zoom meeting with them. And like I mentioned earlier, went through a whole like hour and a half presentation, everything. And then they gave me an offer at the end of that thing. And then I took 1 day to decide. And then I called them back the next day and said, yeah, I'll take it.
well, that's exciting.
Yeah. So it was a stressful week, but it was like the good kind of stressful.
Yeah, yeah.
Because, you don't want to make the wrong decision. Yeah, but I'd rather, because I talked to my family before and we were joking about it. I'd rather have more stressful making a decision than being stressed out than not having any offers. So.
Yeah. Well, they're going to be happy to have you after this season. Marley, was yours like that too?
Yeah,
you transferred, obviously.
Yeah, mine, I transferred in the spring portal as well. And it was like a similar process. Yeah, you just go to compliance and then fill out the papers, do all that stuff, and then you're in. And then it was actually pretty quick. I didn't have like as many that quickly, but it is pretty quick that you get like some coaches that are like, if you fit the profile, right, they'll just send you a quick message. So I had like 3 or 4 after like a couple days, and then I never ended up like talking too much with like the coaches that reached out to me, because a lot of them were other Division II schools. So it was nice to get, like I said, to come here and then get that connection with Julio, which then transferred to CSUN, and then it was a smooth process though.
It's surprising you to get more D1 offers. You want to get better players on the team.
Yeah, thank you.
And they just don't know about you.
That's kind of what I was leaning towards. I think it's like when I was able to be put into those situations in that environment where I can then prove myself like that I do belong there. I think that's what kind of helped out a lot. So I'm grateful for where I'm at now. Everything worked out. So
yeah, just needed that opportunity.
Exactly, I just needed that opportunity.
Wow. So let's talk about Fusion and your season so far. I heard about the loss a couple days ago. A little surprising.
Yeah, that was after a little hot streak. Yeah.
Any place you want to start about how the season's going and ups and downs or players or?
I was just gonna mention him. I mean, leading goal scorer in the nation. No, it's been a good season though. Like I feel like we're very good individually this year, and like I think just gelling at the right time. Like we had a little hot streak, and our coach is telling us like form isn't something you can just press down a pedal and turn it on, turn it off. I think it's something that we got to get going into as we're going into playoffs here. I think we got to gel a bit more and start working together, holding each other accountable, all that stuff. But throughout the bulk of the season, it's been really good. I mean, what do we have? 2 losses now, 1 tie.
Yeah.
We've been in good form, so I'm just excited for this last regular season game. Hopefully we secure the top of the table and then win into playoffs. So.
Yeah, I'd say kind of the same thing. We started off slow the first game, but again, it's one of those things where we don't know half the starting lineup. You only know 5-6 players on the team. You're playing with guys you've never even met before. So I think, you still want to win the game, but at the same time, you kind of have a little bit of an excuse per se for that first game. But then after that, had some practices together. Then we started hitting our stride throughout there, playing really good.
Have you scored every game?
Not every game. I didn't score the first game, and then I missed just a couple, and then I missed 1 or 2 games in between.
Okay,
but
pretty
good scoring form.
Pretty consistent.
If I would say, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think's changed? Because I feel like last season you wouldn't have made those goals, and this season you have.
Yeah, I was actually just about to bring that up. I think the way we play is a lot different from last year. Last year, I think our team obviously was very good. We won nationals, but the way our style was a lot different. So we'd score 1 goal and our defense was really, really good, and we'd not pack it in, but like we'd kind of just hold off for the rest of the game. Where this year I feel like we're a little more hungry at the front, and we score 1 goal, we score 2 goals. We just keep going, you know what I mean? And I think that's kind of helped because we have a couple new players. Booba's obviously back this year because he was injured for most last year, and then
Oh, he wasn't playing much.
He didn't
last
play
year.
after the second half of the season because of his knee.
Oh, okay.
And then we have a player that also plays at Northridge, Jamar Ricketts, who's
Was he here last year?
No, was not.
How did he get connected? Just
He, I don't know if it had anything to do with me. I think it was just our coach's, Mike's connection with the coach from Northridge.
Yeah.
And he actually played for Fuego last year, like their Fuego second team. We actually have a couple other players that played for Fuego and came here. So I think it's just like the Northridge connection again. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
He's a good pickup.
And he's been a good pickup for us. He's an assist machine, and
Yeah.
he grabs a few here and there, which helps. So I think a mix of all that is kind of tied into it.
Yeah, that left-footed volley against
Yeah, what a goal!
Yeah, that was a fun night.
That was
You know, it was like what 2-0 at halftime or 1-0 at halftime or something like that. 3-0.
I think it was 3.
I think it was 3.
And then we
Okay.
had 4 second half goals.
Yeah,
And
with the
someone-
red card.
With the red
With
card,
the red card.
too.
Yeah.
Somebody turned up in the fog. A hat trick hero over here, you know.
Yeah, our hat trick hero.
A little bit, yeah. I was
How many hat tricks have you scored?
just what, like with the Fusion?
Fusion or college? Both.
Oh, I don't know if I haven't scored any in college, but yeah, that's the last time I did that was quite some time ago. But
Like
I
high
was, something like high school. But I was joking with Mike about it, and he was saying because my dad and my brother came into town, so they
Okay.
ended up catching the game. And he was just making a joke. He said, Marley's dad's coming to every game for the rest of the season. It was pretty funny. But yeah, it was nice to be able to do that. And like while they were able to watch, because they also from Canada, so they don't get to see me play live too often.
So they came from Canada.
Yeah.
Wow.
They both, it worked out with schedules. And then they
Your
came.
older brother.
Basketball
player.
Yeah, basketball player. So he came, my dad came, they met up at the same time. And then they ended up seeing that happen. So it was good timing. It was really good timing.
Yeah, it was a good night.
Yeah, very good night.
You could tell you guys have just been scoring more, and it's been like, it's been like, it's not like desire, but like momentum.
Yeah.
It feels like you have momentum once you score.
Yeah, and it's a lot of different goal scorers.
Yeah.
Like it's like sure like there's like certain people who score more than others, but there's like a lot of goal scorers throughout the team. So I think
Yeah.
that helps as well.
Especially like our whole front line. Like if you look at our whole front line, I have a good amount of goals, and then Jamar, Marley, and Booba all are sitting on 4, 5, 6 goals, which those make a difference. Those are big goals.
I tell you what, Booba would be I would hate to try to defend Booba. He's
Yeah.
just shifty. He'll just cut you.
And pacey too.
Yeah,
Very
he'll
pacey,
oh my
yeah.
gosh. You can see when the defender closes in on him, like he's just giving him space because he doesn't
And
wanna get
he's I don't know
burned.
if you could tell from watching from stands but he's strong too.
Yeah,
Like, it's
yeah.
like with that pace and the strength, it's tough to get the ball off him. For sure.
Yeah, and
Very
you know,
tough.
he's a little shorter, so he can get underneath
he gets
you.
underneath.
He drops
yeah.
his shoulder, pushes it once, and he's gone.
Yeah.
It's so hard to
That's
defend.
That's a nightmare
It is.
to defend. Great to have on your
Thank
team.
God.
Exactly.
Yeah. I haven't seen anybody like that on other teams.
Yeah,
Have you seen good players on other teams?
There's been a couple, but
Yeah.
I think like on a lot of the other teams we play, they kind of have their one guy. Where on our team, I feel like Marley mentioned, we have a bunch of different threats up front. So I think like when we talk about a team before the game, we kind of pick out a player that we know who's going to give us trouble, and we maybe give them a little special attention. I don't know if a team could do that for us because
yeah.
because
it's
they're
like
going to
you
say the
shut
whole
down
front
one
four,
player,
yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you shut down one of us, if you give double team one of us, that gives space to the other one to work. And
then you guys always rotate.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
a big thing that Mike has kind of implemented. Like even last year, me, him, and Nate, Nathaniel, who used to play here, we'd always like rotate the front 3, but never really in the 10. Like that kind of wasn't really a thing. And then now this year, it's like
Everybody's moving.
Yeah,
All
like
four,
all the
yeah.
front 3 are moving,
Yeah.
and then Jamar, who plays in that like free roll 10, like he'll just move everywhere on the field, and we kind of like base like our movement off each other, which really helps, and it kind of throws the other team off a little bit.
But it also gives us a nice freedom.
Yeah.
Because I would say in college, it's different. That like every team has their own specific system in college, and there's a lot less freedom as a player. And sometimes that's good. Sometimes it's not as good in certain games or certain situations. But here it's nice because, you know, if it's working, it's also a good thing. But it also gives you a lot of freedom to try new things and develop as a player, which is ultimately what you want to do out here.
Would you say it's like more positionless? Because I know that's kind of a thing
Mainly
right now.
up front. I think up front it really
Up front,
is.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's like you can, like half the time in the games, I'll go on a little run, and then by the time I'm done my run, Logan will shift out to the left, and he'll just like, Marley, stay middle. And then I'll
Yeah.
just stay middle until we naturally switch back. And then it's not really something that we like say like
Does
plan.
Mike, does Mike tell you to do those things?
Yeah,
Or like,
he just gives us the freedom to do it.
Okay.
He doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
But it's not like, oh, every 5 minutes on the dot we
Yeah.
switch roles. It's kind of just like the free flow of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So like Marley said, if he goes on a run or Booba goes on a far run across the field, someone will rotate in and you just stay there until, you know,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
natural flow of the game takes you into the middle again.
yeah, I mean, you guys are in college, so you guys can do this, but this is what I'm trying to get my kids to do. You know, my 10-year-olds and my 12-year-olds, they just don't, off the ball movement. It's just, it's so.
I think it also, it has a lot to do with the coaching style as well, and like the players you're playing with. Like, for example, me and the other front three as well, like have like really good chemistry. I feel like, and after playing with each other last year, it's just that movement. It just kind of works out off each other, like in the flow of the game, like we said. So.
Is it like that way when you train too? You guys pretty good
Yeah.
connecting with each other?
Yeah,
It's
really
all
good
right.
actually.
Yeah.
But we've also lived together 2 summers in a row.
Yeah.
So we
helps.
spend all the time together.
Yeah.
We know each other really well, so that helps going onto the field because we know how each other think, we know how each other play, and so I think that gives us great chemistry.
The bromance is real.
Yeah, of
Bromance.
course.
Do you guys like have as good of a connection with each other here as you do as your college teams? Would you say
It's
different?
well, I don't know actually, because like when you think about it here, it's tough because it's like a 2-month, 3-month season. So it's tough. Like you think in college it'd be like better connections, and there is, like, I feel like it's really similar, to be honest. I don't think there's like a better or worse connection. I think it's just different. That's all. But yeah, both are good. I have good connect. I mean, playing up front here with Jamar is nice because we played the fall and spring together. Now we're here, so we're basically playing like year round all together. So that just builds our chemistry, and me and him work really well together. And it'll be nice to see what happens in the fall with us up top.
For Oregon, I'm not quite sure yet because I haven't been there yet.
Have you met any of the players? Like
I've talked to
FaceTime or something?
yeah, I've talked to a couple on Zoom, and a lot of them have texted me. They've been really welcoming, stuff like that. But no, I haven't like been there yet, obviously, so I haven't been able to meet them. But at Milwaukee, it was kind of the same thing like that. I don't know. Out here, it's like because I lived with some of my teammates in Milwaukee for the last 3 years that I was there, so I definitely had good relationships with them. But I think at college, for me at least, I feel like there was more like cliques of friends. You know what I mean? I think that's because of grades though. So like the seniors would hang out with each other more than they would with seniors and freshmen. Where here it's like, doesn't matter your age, you're on the same team, you're here to do the same thing. You're here for 2 months. Everybody kind of just clicks and meshes together.
What about the starters and the subs? Because I know the subs really don't get in the game much.
Yeah, no, that doesn't make a difference. I think like people, like we were talking about this the other day actually, like the subs, they're there, they do their thing, and like everybody's together. Like I don't think it's like he mentioned something about like supporters. Like everybody supports each other on the team, and I think that's really important because it helps with like the brotherhood. I don't think there's any
ego or
jealousy. There's none of that, and it's nothing from the starters either, or like the regular starters either, that are like, oh, like you don't talk to me this way. Like it's not like that at all. Like everybody's all together. So I think that's a really like positive thing about the team. Yeah.
Where do you think this culture comes from? Is it from the coaches or from the players?
That definitely has a big part.
I think it has a part, coaches, but also I think just like where we're at as players has a lot to do with it. Like it's a summer league, so they call it pre-pro for a reason. So you have to come here if you're serious about playing. So I think everybody out here has the same mentality. Like if you ask, I'd say 25 out of 26 guys on their team would probably say, I want to go pro. Maybe all 26, you never know. And having somebody who thinks just like you and wants to dedicate their life to this right now, like I think that makes it so much easier to make bonds with people.
Yeah, but like I've talked to a few, because I was just at so a little background. Last weekend I was at a coaching course, and some like former professionals that didn't quite make it are now coaching, and they tell me these terrible stories of like practice sessions where other players will like try to injure them, and it's like
We don't get
We don't do any of that here.
Not here. Not,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
even close.
I think, well, there's some times where, and I think everybody on the team also holds each other to higher standards than that. Like if you see somebody going out and being reckless, hey, don't do that. Like that's our player. Like you don't want to injure one of our players. Like
That's good.
Yeah. No, we have a good relationship. Like everybody has good relationships with each other.
It also helps that we're doing well as a team because I think in certain situations, if you're having a bad season or something, or
winning
you're
helps.
not, so like if you're losing, players might have arguments or they might not be friends. I think we're very fortunate where everybody here likes each other, gets on with each other. Like you're not going to be best friends with everybody on the team. That's just not how it works. But I think everybody respects each other enough to play and not injure anybody and play, but give everything you got.
Are you guys living in the same apartment this year?
We are, yeah.
Like the same as last year, or
No, like
just together again?
Together this year.
Yeah. So we're with Tet, our goalie, and then Gio, the captain. And then there's another group of guys that are in apartments as well.
Hey, how do you say Brady's last name?
Secrezi.
Secrezi.
So crazy.
Yeah. It's
He tells it like so crazy.
So
like
crazy.
Just like so crazy. And then blend it together. So crazy.
Crazy.
That's how I remember it.
Yeah, I just mispronounced his name all season.
I don't think I've heard one commentator say
Okay,
it properly,
good.
so
Okay.
I don't think you're the only one.
It's a tough one.
It is
Yeah.
a tough one.
At first, I didn't know how to say his first name because there's a J in there.
We call him Brajdi.
Yeah.
I don't think
how
that's
first
right,
said it.
but
I felt so bad.
Brady. Yeah.
So everybody is in the apartments and they're having a good time.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm having a great time out here. It's summer, doing what I love.
What?
Go to the beach too.
Yeah.
What do you guys do in the spare time?
Oh, a lot of two-touch goes on in our living room. We just have
Yeah.
like a little ball. We have some space in the living room and just walk past it. Two people will be in the living room at one time, and then boom, you start juggling for like an hour or so, and then it just keeps on going.
It's nice because we all like can hang out together whenever we want, but it's also nice because we all like are good on our own as well. So I think we have a good like mix of because we all eat dinner together every night. We talk, we can play two-touch like you said, or we go somewhere, but then we also can just go in our room or sit on the couch and do your own thing, and everybody's cool with that. Yeah. So I think it's a good balance between doing your own thing and
Who's cooking the meals?
Tetsuya.
Ted's the chef.
He's the chef.
He's the chef
It's
master.
like 5-star every night.
Every night.
And I have nothing to complain about.
Nothing to complain.
What does he usually make?
Teriyaki chicken, steak. Usually we have rice, broccoli, and then he makes meat. Yeah. But he's a chef.
Yeah.
Why is he so good?
He tells
used to
us
work at a restaurant.
he tells us he used to work at a restaurant,
Oh, yeah.
but he said his parents are both really good cooks, and they just taught him from a young age. So I'm happy he is. Like,
I know, I'm happy.
we're reaping the benefits of it.
Yeah.
And everybody's clean in the house. Everybody's like, it's just nice living with like-minded people, like he said. Like everybody wants to do the same thing, and everybody like hold each other to high standards in the house and on the field as well. So it just really helps with our relationship, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's the four of you. Is there another apartment?
Yeah, there's another apartment with. So we got an apartment just for the people returning last year. So that's why it's me, Gio, Tet, and Marley, and then a couple of the new guys who got housing this year. They live in the other apartment.
And some players have gone home because
Some come and go. Some come and go due to injuries. Some come and go due to their school. They want them back early or personal reasons. You never know. I personally don't like when people leave. It's not really my place to say if they should leave or not. But
yeah,
I think at least my mentality is I told the coaches I'd come out here and play for the summer. I'm gonna stay until the last game.
Yeah.
That's how I think of it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your playing experiences growing up. We'll start with you, Logan.
All right.
How did you know, or when did you know you'd be a top quality player, scoring all the goals?
I don't know if I ever thought about it like that. My dad's English. I'm sure I've mentioned this before, but my dad was born and raised in England.
So he's a big football fan.
Big football fan, yeah. So he grew up supporting West Ham since he was 16. So I'm a big West Ham fan as well, which is everybody likes to make fun of. I don't know why, but
I feel like West Ham is like the dark horse.
yeah, we're on a come up right now. Just won a trophy, but so that was a big thing for me. So ever since I was little, I've been a West Ham fan, watching Premier League games every weekend with my dad. And then ever since I could walk, I've had a ball at my feet. I played in the backyard with my sister, or we always had these little blow up balls downstairs, and we had like no furniture so we wanted to play. So I've always had a ball at my feet. Played rec levels when I was like 5 or 6 or 7 before club, and then ever since then I was playing at a club level.
In Milwaukee?
Not in the surrounding areas, because I'm not from Milwaukee. I'm from about 30-40 minutes south.
Okay.
But I'd always play in that area.
Yeah.
But I'd jump from club to club if I didn't like, if it wasn't competitive enough, stuff like that. So it's kind of nice to finally get to college where I didn't have to deal with the club level anymore, and you're playing at a level where people are dedicated and you want to be, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how it was for me. Yeah,
clubs can be like hit or miss.
Very.
I played for 2 different clubs in high school, and one was terrible and one was great. Yeah. So I was like, you just never know.
You never know until you go there for a season and you're like, I don't like this. So then you leave, you know?
Yeah. Marley, what about you? What was...
Yeah, I was... we have this little thing in Canada. It's like Little League called Tim Hortons. So I was playing the little Tim Hortons League. And
isn't that a restaurant?
It is a restaurant, but that's like the sponsorship. So it's called Tim Hortons League. And I was playing in the year older with for my brother's team. So like I started like really young. Like he said, like I always had a ball at my feet, and it was like my dad was football, my mom was basketball, and then of
so
course
nobody was playing soccer.
Not really, like at the time. And then they put my brother into soccer because soccer's kind of that one sport you just put your kid in it. Like that's never the first one.
Yeah.
And so they put my brother into it, and then I just followed along, I guess. And then so I was playing upper year for a couple years, and then I started going into my own thing, and then started playing for like the actual organized clubs, like it's called Chilliwack FC. Chilliwack's the city I'm from. I don't know if you know much about geography of Canada.
Is it west or east?
West. It's it's California, Oregon, Washington, and then British Columbia, where I'm from.
Okay.
And then from a city called Chilliwack. So I played there, and then there's, like I said, there's an academy, Vancouver Whitecaps, and then there's like a level below that, like right, like kind of when you transition from like I don't want to say little leagues, but like organized
like
soccer.
But,
yeah, kind of. And then it's called HPL, like high performance leagues. So then I transitioned into that, played there for 4 or 5 years, and then that's when I graduated, and then went to just a small school in Canada for like COVID, because it was tough to get out of there while COVID was kind of strong. But yeah.
Were you in high school when that happened? No, you guys were out of high school
for COVID.
Yeah,
it was my senior year of high school.
Shit, you guys got the shaft. You didn't.
Yeah, spring break.
Guys, you guys.
Big time.
But I think
I didn't know that.
In Canada, at least for my school, the year after us got it worse. Like at least because soccer is a fall sport at my school, so I got to play my soccer season. I got to play my basketball season in the spring, and then when spring break hit, then COVID shut everything down.
Okay.
But then the year after. So I just didn't get like a prom or like a proper graduation, like that kind of thing. But like the year after, no sports were in session, nothing. They didn't get like anything. So I was kind of like grateful to get what I got. But
I think that was more for Canada, because I think the next year after me, they got to play and stuff like that. But we missed out on like our last month of school. It went all online. Didn't get a prom.
But you got your season in.
We got, in the fall, because that was before COVID was even a thing. But missed out on prom.
Fall?
I'm pretty sure our school might have played. I'm not 100%
I think
on
America
that,
was a bit more lenient.
Yeah, America opened up a bit quicker.
Yeah.
But I know in college we didn't right away. We played our fall season in the following spring. So we still played it, but I don't know. I can't remember if the high school played or not. I thought they did, or at least they were practicing to an extent. So.
But your college season was pushed to the spring.
College was pushed because of the NCAA like rules. They voted on it and whatever.
Was that for both of you?
Mine was, we played like our conference was shut down. So then we joined like a men's league in the area, because our coach wanted to like get some games in still. So we played and some of the other teams in our conference also joined it. So we were playing like some of them.
How was that? How was
it
the
was
men's league?
Yeah, it was. We only played 4 games. Like and then it got shut down because of COVID.
Okay.
Like it was just like too hot. Like that was the fall of 2020. Like when COVID was like super. But yeah, it was all right. It was definitely different. But I mean,
I play in a men's league right now. And we played a couple seasons ago. We had a team that joined the league, but they were like just out of college,
Yeah.
so they're all super quick,
Of course,
and they're beating all the teams. But then they played us,
Yeah.
and we just outsmarted them.
Yeah.
Wow, there it is.
I got the winning goal,
Yeah,
5-4.
there you go.
Of course.
Yeah.
I know that's the thing
But
about
it's fun. It's
yeah.
fun.
Like I've played some with
men's
some
leagues are
men's.
amazing.
Yeah, I played with some men's team, and it's like it's a lot of like brain work, like because with young people, it's like technical ability and
Athleticism.
like athleticism. Yeah,
Athleticism.
when
Yeah.
like men's league and stuff, it's a lot of like technical. They're really good with their feet and just smart. Like
Yeah, because
and
they're
I
good
really-
players.
Yeah.
They just can't move.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So you can't press any of them because they'll just do a
Touch
couple
the ball
moves
or
right
body
around you.
because
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
50 pounds heavier than you are. Can't
Yeah,
ever touch the ball.
Yeah, it's a good learning lesson.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
is.
Let's talk about our upcoming MLS Superdraft. Are you guys going to declare? This is your senior year, right?
This is my senior year.
And this is your junior
Junior,
year?
yeah.
Okay. So you've...
I think I can, but I don't know. I don't.
How the draft works, you can declare once.
Oh,
At least to
really?
my knowledge, you can declare one time. I know people have done it early, but after you declare, you can't declare again. So like they usually say, just do it your senior year. At the moment, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'm still talking it over with my family, figuring out what's best for me. Because ultimately, my goal would to be play at a high level in Europe. Like that. That's my dream. You know, Premier League. You know, La Liga. It's a far fetch, but that's the goal. So I'm trying to figure out what would be the best step towards that. If I could go there, you know, if MLS is the way, then that's the way. But I'm still deciding whether I want to go see if I could play in Europe, see if I could make it in Europe first at a smaller league or go to MLS.
So your first, I guess, priority or goal would be abroad.
I think so. It'd have to be a good offer, you know, like at a good country. Because I don't want to go play in like second division of Iceland or anything like that. Because MLS is obviously better than that. But say a good country like where Nathaniel Opoku is playing right now. He's playing in the first league of Belgium. That's a great league to play in. So if I had an offer from there, I think I'd probably take something like that.
Have you guys been in touch with Nate?
Yeah, I talk to Nate every couple weeks actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still a good friend of ours. So
He's doing his thing out there too.
yeah, he's doing well.
I haven't seen any of his highlights lately. I saw he
yeah,
scored a couple goals a
They're,
few
they're,
months ago.
they were in the off season, so because
okay.
Europe and MLS have different. So like
That's
the
right.
summer they actually get off,
That's right.
and I think they're in preseason right now. But
Is he still with that team?
yeah, he signed there for one more year on loan because he's still signed with Leicester.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he extended his loan for another year. But he did get Player of the Month in the last month of their season when he actually started getting a couple starts. So that was really cool.
That's good.
Yeah,
You think he'll get called back to Leicester?
that'd be
He's
sick.
going at the pace
That'd be
he's
sick.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you will in no time. Yeah.
It might work in his favor that they just got relegated too. You never know because if they're doing really well in the Premier League, he might not get a call back. But if they're struggling a little bit and they
Yeah.
need some fresh talent, he might get a call there and maybe he does well there like he's doing now. And
I totally forgot they got relegated.
yeah, they got relegated.
Poor Leicester.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Who else got relegated?
Southampton and
There was one team that was
crap.
just terrible all season.
that was Southampton. They were the worst. It was
Okay.
Southampton, Leicester, and
Leeds? Was it Leeds?
Leeds was in the conversation. I don't know if it was.
I think Leeds was safe.
Yeah, Leeds. I think Leeds.
I only know Leeds because
cannot-
of the two Americans on
Yeah.
there.
I cannot remember for the life of me who. You think I know this? I watch every week, but I don't know. It was Leeds or
But that is a good point. You know, he could get an opportunity because they're moved down.
yeah. Because think about it, because the last couple of years they've been pushing for top 6, and if they're pushing for top 6, realistically, a 22-year-old kid isn't really going to get a call up for that if they already have a good team because they're pushing that high. But if they're struggling, they want some fresh faces.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll get his chance.
What do you think happens to a team that goes from winning the league to a couple years later to relegated? Like, is it the team environment? Is the players? Is the coaches? Like, what do you think went wrong for Leicester?
I think it was tough because Leicester, like, the second you do something like that, like, the big teams are gonna like notice the players. Like, for example, like Mahrez left, Conte left, like they pick up the really important players to that team. So it's like you're losing those guys. And yeah, sure, they stuck around for like a couple more years, but I think over time, I think that like when you lose that
if you don't
core,
have good players.
yeah, when you lose that core, I feel like it just affects how like the team does. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say along the same lines, kind of. But yeah, like the year after they won, that the way they played that year was just like so different. Like their counterattacking with Mahrez and Vardy was just insane. Those were arguably the two best players in the league at that time. Like you knew what they were going to do, but they were just so good at it that you couldn't stop it. And then the year after Mahrez leaves, Conte leaves, big parts of their team leaves. And it's hard to replace those players and play in the same system. Because there's no player like Mahrez in the world right now, or a player like Prime Vardy, like, you know.
He was quick.
He's insanely quick. You give him any chance of a shot, it's a goal. It's insane.
Yeah.
And then they had troubles with their coach. Their coach tried to play the same way. And
what was that guy's name? Ranieri?
Ranieri? Yeah.
It seems like, to me, like the players just stopped playing until the coach got fired, and then they started playing
happens
again.
Sometimes where they don't like the coach and they'll just
Have you ever done anything like that on your team? Had a mutiny like that?
I could say no.
No.
Or seen it? Have you seen it anywhere else?
I don't know if like to that extent, no. I've seen players dislike a coach for sure and not want to play, or they quit because of it. But I've never seen anybody like sabotage. No, but I'm sure it happens.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, to me, if I didn't like a coach, I'd just try and like prove him wrong.
Yeah.
Like not make him look bad, but like kind of make him regret either not playing me or, you know, something else along those lines. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Have you ever had to prove a coach wrong? They overlooked you?
Many times.
Yeah.
I feel like that happens a lot at younger levels, stuff like that. College happened before they kind of knew who I was as a newbie. You know, you have to prove your spot unless you're coming from like big academy teams, which I wasn't because we didn't have that in my area. So I think going in as a freshman, I had to prove myself. And
are you going to be the starting forward at Oregon?
I would assume. I don't want to say yes because, again, it's not promised. I'm going to have to still earn my spot, but I think that's what I'm expected to come in and do.
So they don't have a star striker like you? Or?
Not at the moment, no.
Okay.
They actually, the last 2 years, they've sent their striker to the draft. So that's another reason
there you go.
Why I went there. Cause
MLS future All-Stars.
So we'll see. But no, so I don't know. We talked about that too because like they made that known. Because if they're making a good offer to me and which they did, they want me to come in. They don't want me to come sit on the bench. So I think they expect to come in. I expect to come in and play, but I also can't like just go in and just not work. You know, I got to still work hard, still earn the respect from the coaches and the teammates because otherwise it's not going to be good. Kind of the same way as here. I think all the returners from last year earned one start. So you come in, you start the first game. If you don't perform or you're not at the same level, you'll be benched. And a new guy who's really performed will come in and play. So you earn that respect from last year for one game, and then from there on, it's a competition. It's no like last year's last year. It's in the past. Sure, it's great, but it's different to this year, you know?
What about you, Marley? Are you hoping to play in the MLS or abroad?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
back to Canada?
I mean, the league is like, there is a Canadian Premier League, and it's kind of on the rise right now. It's been around, I think 2018, was the first year. So it's been around for half a decade now. I mean, it's kind of like what he said. Like if like I'm just trying to get as high as I possibly can, and it doesn't matter if it's MLS or CPL, or if it's like abroad. Like if I have a connection out there, somehow it comes out of nowhere, then I'll go out there and see if I can make that work. But it would be easier to play in Canada because of visas, right? So like if I'm here, I'd have to get a work visa, and then I would occupy an international spot on a team. And a lot of the times these MLS teams are saving their international spots for like those hard hitters that are coming from like South America, you know, like those big names. So it's tough. It just adds a little extra obstacle, but it's not something that I'm like upset about. It's just something I got to work harder for. Yeah,
that is an interesting point because like Logan being from the States might have an easier time getting drafted.
100%.
Yeah.
Do you know what the rules are for
in the MLS? I think you're allowed 7 international spots on your team, which really isn't that much. So like he was saying, which is true, a lot of teams save their international spots for good examples like Insigne coming over from what was it, Napoli
and Bernardeschi, they're
and
both
Bernardeschi,
Italian.
or like David Beckham and
Zlatan.
Yeah.
Like they come over, they're making big money
Messi.
contracts. Yeah, Messi coming over, and they'd rather use a spot for a player like that than a 22-year-old coming out of college who hasn't proven himself in a pro league yet. Which you never know, that 22-year-old might be the next big thing, but that's a risk that they really don't want to take.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a little more like it's a little more appealing to go to the MLS. You know, I might have an easier route
Yeah.
to at least get a contract, but
Yeah, but there's also been some, like people will go from CPL to MLS because there's some teams that have connections with other teams, like from CPL into MLS. So, I mean, if that needs to happen for me to get to the MLS, then I have no problem doing that.
Who was the really good Canadian player that plays in Bayern?
Alfonso
Fonzie.
Davies.
Alfonso Davies. Didn't he start in the MLS and then go?
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. He was in Alberta, so a whole other province, and then he came to Vancouver Whitecaps, and then he was playing when he was like 15, 16, and then he was doing his thing there, and then he moved off to Bayern,
Yeah.
and then now he's been.
He's been there for a while.
Yeah,
been there ever since. Yeah.
28, I think 2018 as well, something like that. But yeah, he's a very good player.
Canada's got a good team.
Canada's good. I don't want to talk about the last what happened the other day.
What happened the other
They
day?
just
Missed a
lost to
couple
the US.
Oh,
Yeah,
did
you
they?
guys beat
Yeah.
him in the Gold Cup.
The
It was
Gold Cup.
unfortunate, but we got to work on our penalties. That's all. But
Was that the final or was it just
it was
Quarterfinal.
quarterfinals.
Quarterfinal?
Yeah, so it's still.
Still a big deal.
Yeah, but it was tough to watch. But it was kind of a slow game, to be honest. And then it was just 2 goals like late game, and then we ended up losing on penalties. Missed a couple too many. But,
Are you guys good penalty takers?
he's
I'd like to say so.
You scored. I saw you. You've taken a couple.
I've had a couple this year. 4,
Have you scored
I think.
all of them?
Yeah, all of them to date.
Yeah.
So
So Marley, you don't take them?
No, I've had my bad experiences, but like I'll never like I took one a couple weeks ago. We went to Arizona to play a little like it's called the Hank Steinbrecher Cup. It's like the NISA winners, UPSL winners, USL champion or USL 2 winners, and then the previous winners from the year before. And I took one there. Like I'm confident in taking them, but obviously if we have someone who's as consistent as him, like if it's not broke, don't fix it or try to change it, right? So I'm just kind of.
he's always asking for them
These
too.
things.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
I'll never stop asking for it. If
good.
I want a hat trick, I'd expect him to give it that to me. So we'll
If
see.
he's on a hat trick, maybe.
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 Do you go the same way every time?
No, but I
No?
do have a favorite side. I do
Yeah.
like going more
Yeah.
because at least you can kind of like whip it a little bit. But it kind of depends on the keeper. Like a lot of people like, especially now, pros are starting to like watch the keeper and see if he moves a lot now.
Yeah.
I don't like doing that. I just pick a corner I'm gonna go at,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna hit it pretty hard in that corner unless they move really early. So like, if a keeper knows that I like to go to that corner, they might take one big step that way before I kick it, and then I can just slot it the other way, which is a soft one. So that's kind of how I like to take them. But I think you have to be able to put them in any corner, you know.
Have you tried to chip the goalie?
Not in a game.
Not
Never in
in
a
a
game.
What would Mike say?
If I scored, everybody would be happy. But if you Panenka the keeper and he catches it, that's a bit embarrassing. So
I feel like it rarely happens that the keeper actually catches it. You know?
yeah.
It just looks so bizarre when they're just standing there like this and the ball's slowly floating and they just have an easy catch. But yeah, I mean it's risky, but it looks good if it works.
It's like youth soccer. You know, I think we scored like 1 penalty. We had like 5 all season, but every time they just kick it right to the goalie. You know, I tell them what you say, like pick a corner, stick with it, don't change your mind.
I always think about it like if you take a good penalty and you place it in a corner pretty hard and a keeper saves it, they're doing their job. Like
Yeah.
that's a great save, you know what I mean? But if you hit one down the middle, like trying to chip, I don't know. To me, I'd rather have someone just save it in the corner than if they save it down the middle, you know, or miss the target completely.
I usually take them to one side, and there was one game I took it to the other side, And the keeper,
And he saved it?
He stopped it, but I got the rebound.
That still counts as a goal. So
You gotta
It
go.
was
You
ugly,
gotta go
though.
with the gut.
I've had a couple of those in my time where keeper saves it, bounces right back to you, and you're like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
You know.
No, it was ugly. I had to like slide, and the defender was there, and like somehow it went in. It was like, oh, I'm never doing that again.
Yeah. Go back to your favorite side.
Yeah, go back to my favorite side. Talk about our favorite sides. You play left, right?
I left.
But you're right-footed.
I'm right-footed. I like the cut in.
You like the cut in?
Yeah, because it's nice to get that wrap around. Or just another thing that I really look for is like I'll just cut in and look for like a darting run because I also like to play that ball either into Logan making that diagonal run or like out to like Booba or Jamar making that far run. So, but it just opens up a lot of opportunities. I think. Yeah, but in the against Capo, he switched me and Booba. So I was normally left and he was normally right, but then he switched and it ended up working out. I mean, 7-0, it worked out. So yeah, I don't mind though playing anywhere really. I have like at Fresno Pacific, I was playing the 9, so I was playing the 9 there, and then I was playing right wing or 10 last in the fall, and then here I play left wing. So I'm kind of like anywhere up top really, but most comfortable at left for sure.
Yeah. And Logan's just the center striker.
I like the 9 a lot.
Have you always been the 9?
Yes.
Yeah.
As far as I can remember. But like here, we're really fluid.
You do some floating out to the left.
Yeah. Actually, in college, I played left wing a little bit. Every once in a while, coach would throw me out at the left wing.
Yeah.
It'd be okay. But I like the 9, like being in the middle. But I don't mind like switching. Like if I'm not seeing the ball a lot, it's nice to kind of come back, get it, play a different role for 5-10 minutes. Hopefully we start playing better. Like I start playing better, get on the ball more, and then go back to my usual spot.
Come in the back to get the ball when they're not getting it to
That's
you.
kind of what happened in the final last year. So, which helped us a lot because there's games where we'd adjust really well. So I was playing the 9 for the first 20 minutes. I was really, really quiet that game. And then I came back and Nate started going up top more. And I started playing like a 10 kind of right winger role. And I got on the ball a lot more. And I thought I played pretty well in the final. And obviously we ended up winning it. But I think like that changed, you know, which also helps because Mike gives us that free reign where if we notice something in the game that's not working, we can change positions. And if that starts working, we can keep doing it, you know, and the coach isn't gonna get mad at us for doing something like that.
That's something I really appreciate about him. Like if it's working, he just lets it go. Like if he's not gonna tell Logan, no, go play the 9. He'll just let it happen the way it's like supposed to happen.
If it's not working, he'll let us know.
Yeah,
but you know,
Is he more of a hands-off coach?
Yeah, he even says it himself. He's like
in some aspects.
Yeah, like he likes to. Like if we're playing well, he'll say, "Oh, I'm a fan of this game." Like he'll just be watching. He doesn't really have much to say, but he'll write down notes, and then at half he'll tell us exactly what we need to know, and then we'll go out and change it in the second half.
I think he's the type. He's not the type of coach to like scream on the field at his players, where a lot of coaches are. And I don't know if I completely like that or I don't like that, because sometimes I like to be, you know, if I'm not having the greatest game, I'd like someone to tell me, you know, and especially the coach, but. He does what he's really, really good at, like Marley just mentioned, writes everything down, and at halftime he tells us exactly what we need to change and do better. And I think that's helped us in a lot of games where the first half we don't play too good, or we're set up in a wrong shape, or we're just not doing everything right. It's not flowing. And then in the second half gives us 5 different points that we need to work on. Yeah. And we change them, and then it starts working. I think that's what he's really, really good at. Yeah. Like, he prepares so well against other teams. Like, he can see what they do and changes, like, to counter that. And that's really nice because you don't play the same style all the time. You adjust to the team you're playing.
Do you have, like a field general on the team? Like, someone who can solve those problems in the middle of the game? Like, who's the best at solving problems mid-game on your team?
I don't know if we'd have like.
I was gonna say like just in general, like everybody kind of works off each other.
Okay.
Like we if we have an idea, we'll tell somebody. You know, like if one player sees something, and we talked about this earlier about holding each other accountable. Like we respect each other enough to do that. If someone sees something and they tell somebody else, like, you know, even if you're kind of barking at them, you know, Mike says a lot. Don't think about the tone, think about the message. So like if someone, you know what I mean? Because if you're angry, you're losing the game, someone might be barking at you, you know, but. You know, you gotta not take the bark into heart and see what they're actually saying. You know what I mean? And I think everybody kind of does that all the way from the defense to the front. If we see something, we'll say something, and the other person 90% of the time listens to them.
Mm-hmm. It's not a lot of ego to.
No, not at all.
No, not at all.
You know, that's
I
combative.
think in terms of like commanding, I guess like there's not really much time out of the game where I'm not hearing Gio talking from the back. Like it's just it was funny because we played the bulk of the season without him because he was on international duty with Puerto Rico. So like our last game was the first game we had him back, and it was like the first time I had heard him again, and it was just like not weird, but it was different again. Like it was just like that's what I felt like I was supposed to be hearing. You know, it just felt like that's what I was hearing all last year, and then now it's back. So it's just like.
There's times you like it and there's times you don't. I'll say that. You need a player like that though. Gio's you need someone on your team that's gonna bark at you, even in times makes you upset, but you need someone like that who's always talking. So it's nice.
Is he the captain this season again? Or you've been the captain?
I was the captain when he was gone, yeah.
Okay.
But I think
who was captain last game?
Last game was Gio, yeah, because that was his first game back. Okay. But I'd say, I mean, Mike talks to us a lot. He talks to me, Marley, and Gio a lot. Tet too, because we're like the four main returners that have come back and start.
He's a good goalie.
Tet,
he's very calm.
Unreal goalie.
He's just
best goalie I've ever played with.
So much confidence.
Yeah, he's good with his feet, good with his hands. He talks to you like, because like back there, like when Gio's talking and Ted's talking, like they see everything. So it's nice to hear it from them. Like, oh, shift left, go
different
up.
Angle.
Yeah, right. So and it's like. To know someone is also that comfortable with his feet, because there's a lot of goalies that don't have the best feet, right? Or like the best passing ability, and like
it's coming.
The
generation next.
And
so
it's
the next
nice
generation's coming.
Yeah, so it's nice to like if I see somebody turning to play him back or rifle him a ball, like it's nice to have that comfort. Like, oh, okay, I think we're good here. Mm-hmm. So
we make a lot of jokes about. Tet does nothing for 89 minutes, just stands there, and then he'll make the most insane save to stop a goal. That's happened multiple times this season where he literally doesn't make a save all game, and then they get through one-on-one, and he makes the craziest save, and you're like, oh, that's a goal. And then he just pulls one out, and you're like, wow, that's unreal. Yeah. But I don't know. Tet's an unreal goalie.
Is he trying to go pro too?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
I believe I could be wrong, but I think this is his last year at. He's at Fullerton.
He's a fifth year right now.
Okay, yeah. So he's at Fullerton. We'll play. He's in the same conference as me, so we'll play in the fall.
Isn't Gio at Fullerton?
Gio is too. Yeah, it'll be good to play them again. Yeah, it's always nice playing against because there's a lot of players on this team that are in the same Big West Conference, so it's like nice to. I'll try and get a picture after the game, even though. This past fall, we beat a couple of the players that I played with at Fusion. I tried to get a picture of them after the game, and weren't a lot of smiles on their end. But I was happy. But
that's how it is. That's how it is.
I was still trying.
You'll do the same thing if you lose. You don't. You want to take the picture, but you're like.
But it's always good to see them, and I mean, these are some of the best months of the year, right? Like it's just you get together 2 months, just have the time of your life, and then go our separate ways to school.
Make good relationships with a lot of different people.
Yeah. I see the kids coming up to you after the game and wanting photos.
That's
and
the best.
That's
the best.
That's the best.
Yeah,
it's it's the next generation. Like it feels cool, and I remember even after the final, it was like a lot of people came up with little ripped out pieces of paper asking for signatures, and I was like,
they needed something to sign.
Yeah, I was sitting there with some thick Sharpies signing on my thigh, and I was like, it felt really good because it's like we really are like the players that these guys look up to, and it's like it is like inspiring, and I mean that's like you said, the next generation. So you kind of want to be like a role model, and you don't want to brush them off. You're like, no, I don't want to sign this. I don't want to take this picture. I always feel so honored when people come up to me and ask for pictures because
it's cool.
Yeah, it feels really cool.
Good.
It's a great feeling.
Yeah,
because I mean, most of my career so far is I'm not playing in front of that many fans. At college, there's not a bunch of fans. Especially at club, there was barely any fans besides parents. So there wasn't anybody coming up saying, "Oh, can I get a picture?"
Yeah.
So when we come out here and we coach some of these kids too at some of the camps.
Yeah.
You have relationships with them, and then they come to the games like, "Oh, can I get a picture?" That's the best.
Yeah. I remember even in last game, I heard one of I was in charge of I think the 2014, 2015 born kids. And one of them was like, "Hi, Coach Marley," and I was I turned around and I was like, "Oh, that's Violet." And then it was it's really cool to see them like in like from a coaching perspective, and then now they come see me play and like they see both sides of me. So
or parents come up and say, oh, like we know you're the coach and my kid loves you, and they come out to support the game. They want a picture after. That's just the best feeling. Like, because we're not just players, you know. We're also like we're coaches off there. We're people, you know.
Yeah.
Make good relationships.
Yeah, well, you're the senior team that we've got.
Yeah.
You know.
yeah.
The top of the top for us.
Yeah, and we've in the academy as well, because Mike has mentioned like the academy's like looking to get in, so it's nice to set like a good example, especially because we are like a good USL 2 team, so it's nice to set a good example for like even those people that are like now like 16, 17, 18 kind of trying to get into this team. It's nice to be that kind of those role models for them. So yeah,
it's kind of nice because I used to play UPSL when I was younger, which just for that's like another amateur league, like semi-pro. And I'd play that at my club in Milwaukee since I was 16, 17, 18. So I was always playing with like men. And, you know, I go into the trainings and obviously I was good enough to be there because I was still practicing and playing with them. And there'd be certain players that I still talk to today that have helped me through that, like introduced me when I was 16 going in. And then obviously I was nervous at 16 going to play with a bunch of 25 to 20 to 30-year-old men who are big, strong, who've done it at college. And some of them were fantastic role models that they bring you in, they make you feel really welcome. And I think that helped me play better. So like he was saying,
so
with
you had an example.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it's kind of nice to kind of be that example now, even though I'm 21, but for the academy kids who are 16, 17, 18, trying to push their way into this team, because sometimes we practice with them, it's nice to just hop in and hopefully show them. I mean, I like to think I'm pretty welcoming and doing my part to make them want to keep playing and push to the next level. So it's nice to be on both ends of that, because I remember when I was there and people helped me out to get where I am today. So
what is that relationship like with the other team? Like you just said, it was
The
welcoming
academy?
and good. And do you guys practice together? You do activities together? Like, what do you guys do?
So we see a lot of them because they practice right before us whenever
Okay.
we practice, because Mike's obviously the coach of them as well. Good amount of them come to our game. They support us really well. We've seen a couple of their games because they're usually before us, so we'll show up early sometimes, support them. I don't know. I think it's a good relationship, and Mike's a facilitator of that because he'll want us in our practice sometimes, and we'll do fitness with them or we'll play a little bit with them, and just to give them that taste of where we are, but also to give us a chance to encourage them and build relationships, which I think is really good.
What's the level like? Obviously, you guys are better, but like, is it easy to get past them?
well, I think it's a maturity thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's easy. Like there's definitely like some of them that bring certain aspects to the table, but it's like the other night we played a little scrimmage against them, and we were on 2-touch and we were just kind of moving around, and like he said, it's nice to like kind of show them like, oh, like this is the level, you know, like we were playing on 2-touch and we were pinging it through them and getting in on goal and creating opportunities. And I think it's good for them to be in that environment and be like, okay, like maybe this is how I should kind of transition my game. So
Do you see any of them potentially making the first team?
I think
In a
so,
couple
for sure.
years?
There's definitely a couple who have good technical abilities. But then again, it's at this, like he said, when we scrimmage them, it's different because a lot of us are 4, 5, 6 years older.
Yeah.
So when you're playing someone that much older, the physicality level is going to be completely different.
You're faster, you're stronger.
So in that way, it's tough for them to compete with us like that.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a couple of them who technically in the future, in the near future, they could be at this level, you know, or they're already at the same technical level as some of us, just physically not there quite yet.
But their decision making hopefully is good as well.
Yeah, for sure. So, like some of the plays they do that, you know, they might pass through us a couple times. They're like, wow, that was really nice, you know, like that's at the level that some teams do to us already. So
Yeah. I think that's like the biggest issue with youth sports is because some kids just grow quicker than others.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
they just develop quicker.
I was like 5 foot when I was like coming into high school. I was like 9th grade and I was still like 5'1", 5'2". Luckily I grew a little bit more, so it was nice. But I remember I was like playing youth soccer and like they were all towering over me and so much bigger, and it's like you go into a 50-50 with one of them, and I don't know how big you were, but I was tiny, so I just get shrugged off the ball. And it was like it kind of did help me like adapt my game to that. So like now, like I'll try to move in ways where I don't get hit as much. Like I'll just try and like I guess juke out of the way. But yeah, it just kind of changed my play style a little bit.
Yeah. When would you say you like sort of turned the page and developed into more physical ability to play? Like
probably
sophomore, junior, senior year.
I'd probably say like going from senior year in high school to like freshman year of college, that was kind of like the transition from like playing with like kids like to like men, right? Because then you go into college and you're like I was 17 in my first season of the 4 games of COVID, but it was like even practicing with them and playing with them, like these guys at the time were like 21, 22 years old, some of them. So I was like, okay, these guys are like 3-4 years older than me. I gotta like use my body now because they're gonna come hit me. And I remember even last year we got the opportunity to play LAFC's first team. There was like, we went there. Oh, it was, I mean,
insane.
It was
the LAFC first team.
The first team.
Like their star players, Carlos
Latif Blessing.
I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, and I remember it was just like, it was so eye-opening to me because I remember before the game, like we kind of had like a little meeting and we got told not to go in too hard on them or whatever. And I'm sure I don't know what they were told, but I just got crunched by Blessing. Like he just two-footed me in the back and then he used me to get up. And he like pushed down at me and just walked away like nothing happened. And then of course after the game he came up to me and was like, "You good?" and whatever, and I was. Yeah. But it's like that physicality is like Vela. I remember he was like,
"There's some dirty, shady tricks."
Yeah, for sure. They're like little jersey tugs, like make sure they don't see it. They just like shove you off, and it's like you don't expect this arm to be that strong, and then you're going flying. So it's like that's also another like. It really helped me realize, okay, like I gotta work on like my body positioning or the level I'm at, and like that kind of thing.
That pro level was insane though. Yeah. Like I remember going up against the 2 center backs and they were just
what is that? Because they're huge. These center backs are huge.
They're 6'4", 220, stronger than me, faster than me. Like that was just like that was super eye opening.
Yeah.
Like I think technically they were like really really good, but I don't think we were that far off technical wise.
Okay.
Because they're playing in that environment every day. They have the best chefs. They have the best coaches. Best fields. They're training with each other every day. I think if you put us in, like, I'd like to think I'm pretty confident if I got put into that environment, after a couple weeks, I'd be almost at the same technical level. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, at least for simple stuff. But physically wise, they were just, it's unreal. Yeah. Like, that's a program you go on for a couple years or a year or two, you know, but they're just so strong, so fast.
When was this and why did nobody hear about it?
It was mid-June last year.
It was just a friendly game that they didn't really post too much about it. They posted a couple pictures, like, thanks for LAFC to having us out, but they didn't post too much about it.
This is before the camps with the kids? Because that was the end of June, right?
I think it was kind of in between.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Like, it was in the middle of the week or a weekend that we had off?
Wednesday or something.
I think it was the middle of the week. We
just go down to LA?
Yeah, we just drove down
because they had a bye week. Like, there was like mid-season for them, too. They were top of the table at the time. And we just...
Yeah,
like best team, and like they ended up winning it last year too. So the best team in MLS, we played them like at their training field. So it's like it's crazy. It was such a crazy experience. Like we parked, walk in, you see all the facilities, the gym, the kitchen they have, and then you walk out and you see this perfect field just being watered. That's their training field, just perfect. Mm-hmm. And you walk out, they have a couple guys stretching out. They got their trainers, people doing runs, stuff like that. And they're like, start warming up. And you start warming up, we do our own thing, and then you just play. It was incredible experience.
Yeah. That's something I was like, when I got there, I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. Like, this is what I want to do. Like, I can get paid to do this as a job. Why?
Like, these guys wake up, they go in there at 8 or 9 a.m., get food, and get paid to be there all day. Like, that's a dream right there.
Professional athlete.
Yeah, that's the dream.
Yeah, I wish that was like more publicized. Was it open to the public? Was it closed doors?
Closed off.
Okay.
Yeah, no fan.
Like no family either. Like my family was here at the time for that because they were on vacation and they wanted to come watch, but like you couldn't even see in because they have like the fence blocked off, everything.
Did you get to meet some of the players?
Yeah. Like after you talk to them and stuff like that. Yeah. I know he talked to a couple more players.
Yeah, it was like right after the game, I think we just took like a couple pictures and stuff. And I remember Velo wasn't there. He like left to do his own thing.
Oh, no.
He played for like half and then he just went off and went inside.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. But I mean, the rest of the other people were there. Like, and I still, 2 weeks later, I remember they announced Chiellini signed there. So it was like,
Bale.
and Bale was a bit after
Bale.
A
Chiellini.
bit after, but like when
imagine
they
we
signed
could
in the
play against
summer,
them.
or when they signed after that, they posted pictures of them at the training facility. Like, imagine
just
we
there.
were playing at the same place like Bale and Chiellini were
Yeah.
playing. Like, that was insane.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a great opportunity.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think it was also nice to like it's attainable. Like we're right there. Like
It was
Yeah, you
it was
guys-
to show us like kind of how close we are
You're
to them.
close, guys.
And obviously they killed us, but like I said, I think if we were in a similar environment, we'd be like, we're not that far away.
Yeah, if they came to a VC, we
Yeah.
should last down.
yeah, I think if we played at home, it'd be different.
Yeah, maybe got a penalty or two, you know.
That's cool, though. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I was hoping we'd do something again this summer, but
Yeah.
I don't think we've had the opportunity.
Well, like, was it when was it? When we played that German team?
The
None of you guys could
Hoffenheim,
play.
right? Or
Hamburg.
Hamburg.
I remember I was asking compliance at my school, asking my coach, and I couldn't get it,
Yeah.
couldn't make it work. You were across the country.
I was across the country.
Yeah.
If they would have said I could, I would have flown out.
I don't know why you couldn't. I mean, I guess.
NCAA rules,
Yeah.
there's so many, and
Yeah.
you can't do this, can't do that. But
Have you guys? We've been talking for a while, so I won't take too much more of your time. But 2 more things. Have you guys been approached or thought about any of the NIL stuff, the name, image, and likeness?
I think I could be wrong.
Because you
and-
guys are top players. I mean,
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it's different because international. Like I don't know if I'm
Oh.
supposed to make money here. So I really should do more research because that could obviously be very beneficial. But I'm not sure.
at Milwaukee, they actually gave us a class. All student athletes, when they introduced the NIL, they gave us like 40-minute explanation and video on how it works and what you can and can't do and stuff like that. And then they also gave us a platform to like try and find these deals. It's called Open Doors, I believe. And you go on there as an athlete, you put your profile in, say where you play.
like a marketplace.
Yeah, kind of like a marketplace. And then you can see all the offers there are, like what a company's looking for. So say they want an Instagram post or an Instagram story, and they'll pay you $50 for that or something like that. You can apply for that, and if they like it, they'll reach out to you, and then you get something set up.
Have you done anything like that?
I didn't like go through with any of them. I looked at a couple of them, but I just didn't feel like doing that. I did do Liquid IV, if you know what that is. It's like some like a little packet you put in your water, and it's like hydration, electrolytes, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's pretty popular. They were probably one of the biggest like companies that started to do that. So I applied for them, and they accepted me, and they'd send me like free stuff. And then you just, if you use it, you put a post on your story, and then they keep sending you stuff. I no longer send the stuff. Like I no longer do it because I just not a fan of the taste of the product.
I
But
didn't like it.
you know, it worked pretty well, and a lot of people still do it. But I think if we wanted to, we could probably reach out to more companies. So, but it's possible. But at the same time, like it's not $1 million deals for us, you know.
Yeah.
That's the football basketball.
Like football players, football high end,
Oh, yeah.
famous basketball, college stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like they'll make millions. So
Yeah.
off of like Gatorade or Nike, you know.
Yeah, I mean, soccer's not the top sport in America.
Especially in college, like there's not that much money in it. So
Yeah.
NIL deals aren't like that crazy.
Yeah, not like a Michigan football or
Yeah,
Ohio
or
State
Alabama
football,
or something like
Alabama.
Yeah, those guys.
Like they get deals with Nike because
Yeah.
they're going to the NFL right away because of that school. So,
Yeah.
but
Well, I mean, it's a cool opportunity. It's cool, like they finally allow.
Yeah.
I think it's
You know,
great that they
athletes to get
allowed
paid.
it because why not? Why, if a company wants to pay you $100 for an Instagram post to use their product, why not?
And plus, it's also like these players are making so much money for the actual school too. So it's
Yeah.
nice that like
You get a
like those
little back.
big you can get some stuff back. So
Yeah.
I think it's good that they implemented that. Yeah.
All right, last question. What has been like your most inspirational moment or coach or feeling? Like, what's inspired you through the years to keep going with soccer? Besides
sorry,
winning
sorry.
and scoring all the goals.
I don't know. For me,
Like a great coach that's been, that's
like
motivated
inspiration wise,
you, or like,
probably been my dad.
Yeah.
I think ever since I was a young age, he's been there. He's got me into the sport. He's been my coach for even today. After I have a bad game, he'll call me
Yeah.
and tell me what I'm doing wrong. And
Yeah,
sometimes I don't like it. Sometimes, a lot of times I don't like it, but I need to hear it. So for me, it's that because it's also my dream. So I think that's an inspiration. He kind of keeps me in check. Like, you know, you're not there yet. Like, you got to keep working and stuff like that. So for me, probably my family, my dad especially.
Yeah. What about you, Marley?
Yeah, it's like a little cliche, but yeah, like same thing, like family. Because like ever since we're young, like we're like I was thrown into soccer, like a whole bunch of different sports with soccer. So when I stuck with and like just going through the years and like now I think seeing how close, like how far I've come and like how close I kind of am, I just want to make that like final step, make them all proud, like because they've been with me on the journey, right? Like it's not just a personal thing. Like they've been all three of my siblings, then 2 parents, like they've just always been supportive.
Made a lot of sacrifices.
A lot of sacrifices. That's what, yeah. Like just a little example. Like my mom would drive me to training, which is like an hour away, and we train at 8:45 p.m. And so we drive there. She'd like get out of school. She's a teacher, so she'd get out of school. Then we drive and do all this stuff. And she's also looking after 3 other kids. And she'd drive me at 8:45. We'd get there, train from like 8:45 to like 10:30, 10:45, and then drive home. So we get home at like 11:30 around there, and then she's up at 6 a.m. to take off to school the next day, and she got to do that with 3 other kids, and it's just like I just want to do what I can to help like everybody else that's helped me on this journey as well. Yeah, and also another thing that's also helped with like inspiration is like I have some friends that have like they've signed pro and they're like they're good friends of mine, so it's like. Like if they can do it and I was playing with them, like why couldn't I do it? Like that's kind of pushing me, and then I'll hear about their stories and how things are going for them, and I'll be like, oh man, like I'm gonna make that a reality for myself in a couple of years here. So that really helps me push as well.
I think one more thing just that I thought of is like I've been at the age where I've had a couple jobs myself, like real world jobs. So I was a valet recently for the spring just to make some money on the side and stuff like that. And I've also worked in restaurants, stuff like that. And like to think that I could make a career out of this and a good one at that, like doing what I love, like to me, that's another big inspiration. Not just family, because like he said, family made a lot of sacrifices. My family's made a lot for me, you know, going on weekend trips, spending thousands of dollars because that's how it is in America. It's expensive. So like if I can make a living out of that doing what I love and then also make good money and take care of them after, to me that's a dream.
Well guys, I wish you the best to the rest of your season and your for sure professional careers very shortly.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on the podcast.
You Appreciate you inviting us.
Yeah, you're welcome to come back anytime.
For sure.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.